ask one of the people who's been in charge of taking care of Puerto Rico. That's Justin Peterson, who joins us now. He's a former member of Puerto Rico's Financial Oversight Board, and he's got a lot of thoughts on this subject. Justin, good to have you back with us, sir.
Yes, thanks for having me on, Vince. I have to say, listening to that clip, it bears no resemblance to reality, what happened. And I think this is a perfect example of what the Harris campaign and the left do, is they tell lies and they misrepresent President Trump's record. As you said, I was appointed by President Trump to serve as a member of the Oversight Board in Puerto Rico. I served a 3-year term. Prior to that, I spent more than a decade on the island working in business, not living there, but visiting there frequently, doing business there. I have a lot of friends in Puerto Rico, including, by the way, politicians from both parties that are good friends. And I can attest for your listeners, no president has done more for Puerto Rico than President Donald Trump. And this gentleman the clip you just played, talked about Hurricane Maria. Hurricane Maria devastated the island in 2017. I think a lot of us may remember that. But when it happened, President Trump acted very quickly, and he acted decisively, immediately deploying, as I describe in an article I wrote for the Daily Caller, immediately deploying thousands of federal workers to help with relief efforts. And he authorized billions for the rebuilding and reconstruction of key infrastructure. And in my article, I describe that in detail, but a couple of examples of that, he authorized $9.6 billion, almost $10 billion, to rebuild Puerto Rico's grid, which has been a disaster. It's a model of inefficiency. It's a relic of the New Deal, as is much of Puerto Rico's organization and infrastructure, and also $2 billion for schools. But he's not given the credit he deserves. People constantly distort his record, and that's why I felt compelled to write the article. Yeah.
Well, on President Trump and his interaction with Puerto Rico, first of all, why was there the creation of this oversight board that you served on in the first place? What issue was it designed to address?
Sure. That's a great question. So in 2016, Puerto Rico had amassed $70 billion in debt. That's a lot of money, a lot of debt. And it was the Commonwealth itself. It was PREPA, the Port Power Utility. It was PRASA, the Water and Sewer Authority, the GDB, General Development Bank. And again, these organizations of Puerto Rico were literally set up during the New Deal by a guy named Rex Tugwell, who worked for FDR. It was an experiment in socialism, and it totally failed. And so, years later, 2016, $70 billion in debt, Congress passed a law which authorized the creation of a board. It was to do two things: to restructure the debt, get Puerto Rico out of bankruptcy, allow it to declare bankruptcy, get it out, and to impose some financial discipline, which was desperately needed. And so that's why the board was created. And I would say that until President Trump shook the board up, not much had been done. During the 3 years of my term, myself and a few others, we were able to restructure some of the debt. But when he left office, President Biden and Harris, their administration, they have stopped. Let me go back to that $9.6 billion for the grid. Most of that money sits unspent. The Biden-Harris administration has provided almost no accountability or oversight or put any pressure on the Oversight Board of the Commonwealth to comply with procurement policies that are designed to prevent corruption, that are designed to ensure that there are no big contracts. And so the money sits unspent. Puerto Rico is still plagued with rolling blackouts. Then enter Kamala Harris. She rolled out her plan for Puerto Rico this week. She says it's a green energy plan. I say it's a garbage plan. It's a continuation of the Green New Deal policies of this administration, where they've squandered billions of dollars on green subsidies and have nothing to show for it. I don't know what the actual number is of EV stations that have been built, the charging stations, but for the dollars we spent, not much. That's what she wants to do in Puerto Rico. And there's also two problems that need to be fixed in Puerto Rico that her plan doesn't address. First, they've got to exit bankruptcy. As I said, there was some progress on that when myself and a few other President Trump's appointees were on the board. But a lot of the instrumentalities of Puerto Rico still need to be restructured. Most importantly, PREPA, the power utility. And that requires strong leadership from Washington. They haven't had it. Getting these entities out of bankruptcy, both the Commonwealth and these government organizations, it's going to speed capital investment, speed private investment, capital formation on the island. That's what we need to help Puerto Rico grow. That's one problem. The second problem is that Puerto Rico needs a business-sustaining energy infrastructure. Nobody wants to go there because their power is unreliable. And again, it's this New Deal bunker fuel-driven grid that is falling apart. That has not been rebuilt. Kamala Harris has a plan to rebuild that, and that is with Chinese-made solar panels that, in my view, would end up in the bottom of the Caribbean when the next hurricane hits. That's not the way to rebuild Puerto Rico. We need to use the money that the president has authorized, President Trump authorized, provide the necessary oversight, and build a baseload power system that's made of reliable, affordable power, like American natural gas. So Kamala Harris's plan is not going to fix Puerto Rico. It's going to make it worse. It's a garbage plan.
Let me on the issue of waste disposal, legitimate waste disposal. There have been articles, lots of articles actually through the years, about how Puerto Rico actually has a waste problem, that they have a trash crisis in the sense that they actually can't get rid of all of the garbage. There's a lot, like any community, they generate a lot of trash, but then you got to have a place to put it. It's an island. There's not a place to put it. And so a lot of it ends up all over the island. What, in your time in Puerto Rico and in your time on the Oversight Board, how serious has that problem been?
Look, I think it's a problem, and landfills, trash disposal is a problem. A lot of the problem then stems from endemic corruption throughout the government. That's one of the things that the Oversight Board should be focused on. Again, when Donald Trump was president, the board was made to be focused on it. I don't know what they're doing now.
Amazing. So in the final summary, you think the press is getting all of this wrong, Justin Peterson, and that if any president has been good for Puerto Rico, it's been Donald Trump.
Absolutely. You know what? We know what Donald Trump's record as president was. He was president for 4 years. We know what he did. The Harris campaign and the left are trying to lie about that, distort what he will do, scare people by saying what he will do. We know what he did. And as it relates to Puerto Rico, I had a front row seat to what he did. And it wasn't just me that thought he was the best president Puerto Rico had ever had. But again, elected officials from both parties, friends of mine, some of them Democrats, would say to me, "Oh, I can't say this, I'm a Democrat, but President Trump, he was the best thing for us ever." So this whole mythology around paper towels and things Trump supposedly said behind closed doors, I don't buy any of it because I saw the action. And when they needed help, he stepped up.
That's cool. All right. Hey, thank you very much. Justin Peterson, who is the former member of the Puerto Rico's Financial Oversight Board. Sir, good to talk to you. Thank you for bringing some truth to this conversation.